Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ben. Today I'm coming at you with another video. This time I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite UFC fighters. And so I just want to make this abundantly clear. When I say favorite, I mean favorite. I mean favorite to watch. I mean people who I think are kind of cool, kind of inspiring, people I like, not necessarily the best. Because as it will become evident with this list, there are some people who are not the best. They aren't even the best in their division. They typically are very accomplished and elite level, but they are not necessarily the best. So these are my favorite. So let's get started with number 10. I got Sean Strickland. So Sean Strickland, the biggest thing about him that I like his kind of his personality, even though sometimes it's not great. He doesn't always make the best decisions and sometimes he talks stupid. But for the most part, I do like him. He's very much so, he kind of pulled himself up from the bottom. And I really like that. And he kind of took his crappy situation and turned it into something that's kind of okay. You know, he's kind of got his life in order, or at least it's better than it would have been. About its fighting style, it's a very simple, just working the jab, teep kicks. It's amazing how much he can get with fundamentally being sound with his jab, having great cardio, and great takedown defense. Like he beat Israel Adesanya, the style bender. He beat him with jabs. He was just able to keep coming, and he clipped him in the first round, and then he just kept going, and he put the pressure on him. And Sean is extremely good at doing that. And that's why he's my number 10. Number 9, Alan Angelani. He's from Cameroon, and he is just built like a brick outhouse. And I think he just looks great. And he's a great kickboxer. That's the thing, is he looks like, maybe this guy wouldn't be that agile because he's so, muscular, ripped, and like he's so stocky. But he has great kicks, and he's had some fabulous kick knockouts, at least one that I can think of off the top of my head. And his movement and his flexibility and being able to fight, he is good. He's very good. He's not in the UFC. He's in one championship fighting, but that doesn't change anything. He's still great. Next up, number 8, I got Bas Rutten. And I like him because he was in the movie Here Comes a Boom. But he was actually a great MMA fighter. So Bas Rutten's character in Here Comes the Boom trained Kevin James's character to become an MMA fighter. Now, of course, Kevin James was a wrestler in college, is what he said. So he did have that base, and that's a fabulous base. And a lot of guys in MMA come from that. Bas Rutten's character did train Kevin James' character in that movie, and that's how I first saw him. And then I've actually looked into some of his fights, and he was a great fighter. He was a great striker. He had good kicks and good punches. He was a heavyweight, but he moved pretty decently. And he was actually good at kind of surviving on the ground and doing some stuff. And I think I think he's cool. And that's why he's my number 8. All right, number 7. Derek Lewis. So Derek Lewis is very interesting because he is not a very technical fighter, but I think he's just super fun. Here's the thing about Derek Lewis, is that I remember watching him. I think I watched it actually on pay-per-view, one of the few pay-per-views that I've seen. I believe he fought Volkov, and I remember that so vividly, of when he took his pants off after he knocked out Volkov. And he's just, Joe Rogan, I think, asked him, he's like, "Why'd you take your pants off, buddy?" And he's like, "My balls is hot." And then it became a thing. And now he's doing commercials for Manscaped. And I think it's really entertaining. And he actually is an okay boxer. And he can throw an athletic looking spinning heel kick. Never hits anything, as far as I know. But he can throw one that kind of looks okay. And he's got great defense on the ground. And I think I talked about that in my last video that I did. And that's just such an important, part of it is pure strength, but also he does decent things. He makes the right moves, And ultimately, at the end of the day, if he can find the victory without cheating, which as far as I know, he doesn't, except for that one clip where he was, I think he admitted on Joe Rogan that he kicked some guy in the nuts on purpose just to get a breather, but which isn't good. Shame. But he's just a very interesting, funny guy. And he just had that fabulous knockout power, and he's got a great celebration. And he was kind of like Sean Strickland in that he brought himself up from the bottom. You know, he was in prison at one point, I think, and he was able to stabilize himself. He's got a family, right? And he's doing okay. And I don't think he's overspending his money. You know, even though sometimes he struggles against wrestlers like Cormier, took him down and just, it was not good. But great puncher. I think he's a cool guy. That's why he's my number 7. All right, number 6. I got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I know this is kind of a repeat to some degree of my last list, but it's just the karate thing is really cool. And he's a nice guy. And he's just, you don't see a lot of that karate stuff because if you, from a functional standpoint, it's better to have a kickboxing Muay Thai approach. Muay Thai fighters, they can be successful in the UFC because it's a little bit more practical. Not to say that karate doesn't have some good base, but it's just, you don't exactly usually fight like that because in MMA, like, people are trying to take you down. You know, standing sideways isn't usually the best way to prevent takedowns. It can leave you a little exposed. But actually, Stephen Thompson does a good job of matching with that. He is a fighter, and he does try to push his skills beyond just the karate point fighting style. But he still owns it. It's still his style. It's still his thing. And that's what I've really liked about Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Number 5, I got Corey Sandhagen. I love his nickname, the Sandman. He's got cool tattoos. Skinny guy, but he's a student of the game, is what it seems like. He expands. You know, he's a kickboxer. He's even got gloves, boxing gloves tattooed on his calf. I've watched some fights of his where he's taken people down. They're not like elite level wrestlers for the most part. I don't think so. Not elite level wrestlers, I don't think so. But he's taken some people down and he's held them there. And he's won the fight because of it. He has adjusted his game to include takedowns and to work it. If it's going to help him win, he's going to do it. And I really like that. And his nickname and his fight style. And like, he really impressed me when he knocked out Frankie Edgar. It was very quick. There wasn't a lot to it, but it was beautifully set up and executed when he needed Frankie Edgar. And that's one of the reasons why I really like him so much. Number 4, I got Islam Makhachev. He's probably, in my opinion, I think he might be the best pound for pound right now in the UFC. His style and how he's able to fight people. It is a lot of heavy wrestling, but what I found about like him and Khabib is that they don't just rely on their wrestling. They strike with you. They make you think about multiple things. That's what makes them such great fighters, is it's not just about them taking you down and holding you there and winning the fight. They are trying to finish you. And I feel like that's the case with Islam. I think that Islam really likes fighting and he's really into it and he's awesome. And he game plans really well and he actually has a relatively well-rounded game from grappling to striking. And I think that makes him an excellent fighter. Number 3, I got Rose Namajunas. She has kind of fallen off as of late, but I loved her. Like, I really, before she fought, I believe Weili Zhang, I can't remember if it was the first or second, but when she fought her, I think she knocked her out with a head kick, right? So before that, I wanted her to win again. Like, she got dropped on her head. I was like, oh, that's kind of not fair. Was that a spike? And I know, of course, her opponent didn't do it on purpose. But still, I'm just like, this kind of sucks. I liked her since that, and I really wanted her to win. And I was so excited, right, when she knocked out Weili Zhang. It was just such a wonderful, beautiful moment. And then, you know, of course, she had the more recent thing where she didn't engage that well. I think I watched that fight once, but I don't remember it very well. That's probably for a reason. It just, I really liked her fighting style, and I thought she was great and well-rounded. And she was very interesting, and I really, really liked it. I really, really liked her as a fighter. Number 2, I got Khabib Nurmagomedov. He just, I know that he only fought so many fights. And there were other fights that he could have took. But at the same time, I don't feel like that there was a lot of room. He just ran through everybody. He finished so many people. He would just go right through them. He was so dominating what he was doing against guys that are still fighting, that are still actually fighting at a pretty elite level. Like Poirier and Justin Gaethje, right? They're still fighting at an elite level, and Khabib ran through them. And I think that he quit because he wanted to, but I think he's pretty much like he's one of the best of all time from a more objective standpoint. And he was pretty cool. And of course there was that crap with Conor, and I think he made poor decisions in the octagon, and so did his team, and they shouldn't have done that. But also Conor was a big time antagonizer. That's what he would do. He would stir stuff up, and they responded. And those guys are about family loyalty in each other. And I think that's important to remember. And so, of course, he made a mistake, and he needs to be more careful and not do that again. But I still think he was a fabulous fighter. Number 1, Daniel Cormier. I know people get irritated with his commentary, but I think he's just a fun, lovable guy, honestly. I get it to some degree. Sometimes he goes off on tangents. I think that it's usually kind of relevant, and he knows what he's talking about. He's an elite level wrestler, and that's what he worked on for the most part, but he did have a pretty good stand-up game. I think he's funny, and I like listening to him, and I think he was a fabulous fighter when he was in it. There's a reason why he was a double champ. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Please like, comment what you thought of this video, comment what you thought of my picks, and subscribe. I'll see y'all later.